Hello, and thank you for watching this January 3rd weather update, brought to you by Agrible, the makers of Morning Farm Report. My name is Eric Snodgrass, and I'm a senior atmospheric scientist and co-founder of Agrible. So let's start off with a map of current U.S. weather hazards, and we can see that many locations that have intensive agriculture are experiencing significant weather as of late Monday evening. Starting in the northern United States, an area of weak low pressure moved across Wisconsin on Monday night, and wrapping around this low is enough moisture to produce heavy snow at times across the Dakotas, Minnesota, and northern Wisconsin. This is the reason we see these areas under a winter storm warning and winter storm watch going into early Tuesday morning. Throughout this winter, the northern plains have had the favored storm track for snowfall, which has left the southern states in the Corn Belt behind on their annual accumulations. Now, it's been plenty cold enough for snow, but when each low-pressure system hurries towards the Great Lakes, rather than pushing through the Ohio River Valley, a lot of the central plains and the Midwest states get rain first rather than snow. But without an active subtropical branch of the jet stream, which flows across the southern United States, each one of these big winter storms that tracks through the northern plains is able to drag enough cold air southward that the temperatures behind each one of these fronts this winter has been really cold. And here's the next case of this. This cold front is advancing across the northern Corn Belt on Monday evening and will help temperatures fall far below zero across Montana, the Dakotas, and Minnesota by early Wednesday morning. Expect teens through a large part of the Midwest, and by Friday, it is even possible that the northern tip of the Florida Panhandle could dip below freezing. Now, before we discuss how long this cold air hangs around, let's get back to that hazards map for just a moment. Now, Monday was a really soggy day for a large part of the Midwest. As a result, when the cold air behind this cold front that's moving through gets through Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, and Arkansas, the air will quickly saturate and fog will form. Now, the entire state of Missouri and almost all of Illinois and Arkansas are under a dense fog advisory through the early morning hours on Tuesday, January 3rd. Now, in addition to this, on Monday night, parts of the southeast, from southern Mississippi through southern Alabama and the panhandle of Florida, had a massive squall line of thunderstorms race over the cotton and peanut fields, prompting numerous severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings. Here's a quick look at a radar animation of those storms. Now, see the bowed shape along the leading edge of these storms in the radar reflectivity field? For those of you in the Corn Belt, this is a shape I want you to be watching out for, as the winds along the leading edge of a storm like this can flatten a corn or bean field in seconds. That shape is a telltale sign of strong straight-line winds. And storms like these are very common during spring and summer across the Corn Belt. Now, as of 9 p.m. on Monday evening, these storms have produced over 120 separate reports of severe winds in excess of 60 miles an hour and 4 reports of tornadoes. And in addition to all of that, over 10,000 lightning strikes were recorded over 2 hours as these storms rolled through the southern states. Now, as damaging as they may be, these storms are critical for this region, as it is recovering from a nasty drought that took hold late this summer and throughout this fall. Here's a look at the latest U.S. Drought Monitor, and even though exceptional drought still occupies a large section of the southeast, rains over the last 30 days have reduced the area of severe and extreme drought by a lot. Well, here's what I'm talking about. This map shows the last 30 days of rainfall expressed as a percent of normal over that time period. We can see how heavy rainfall has curtailed the ongoing drought in the southeast, although north central Georgia and Alabama are still drier than normal over this time period. In addition to watching this area, I'm getting concerned over drier conditions spreading from Texas through Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and Illinois and Indiana. Now, we saw from the Drought Monitor that these regions are not in the higher stages of drought, and some of this region isn't even in drought yet. But if winter's rain and snow continue to miss this region, I will raise some concern in March, as this is not an area of drought that the Midwest wants to see develop at the beginning of a growing season. Right, now let's just keep an eye on it for now, but come March and April, if moisture does not return to this area, this could impact next year's growing season. Now, I'm sure, though, your eye has been drawn as you've been looking at this graph to the northern plains, where a lot of precipitation has been falling this winter in the form of very heavy snow. That's a consequence of that storm track we discussed earlier. But before we leave this image, please note that the persistent onshore flow in California has really helped them work on the drought that's been developing there over the last 5 years. This is important given that California leads the United States in the production of over 40 different fruits and vegetables. So what are we looking at for precipitation over the next week? Well, the GFS model shows that after the current system pulls into the northeastern United States on Monday night and Tuesday morning, a big chunk of the Central Plains dries out through the end of the week. Now, California gets hammered, and better than 3 feet of snow is projected to fall in the Sierras. Now, that'll be great for skiing, but it'll also be great for irrigation for the next growing season. Okay, now, on the other side of the mountains, though, do you see this band of precipitation right in through here? Well, there's a weak low pressure system forming on the south side of the jet stream that will produce snow from Colorado through Kansas, Oklahoma, and northern Texas. Now, because all of the cold air that's locked into place this week, this system has the potential to bring sleet, freezing rain, and snow as far south as Atlanta by Saturday. While there is some uncertainty in the track of this system, the South does not do well with wintry precipitation. If this forecast verifies, expect a city like Atlanta to basically shut down for part of the weekend. Unfortunately for school kids, there's no school on Saturday anyway, so a snow day is not really in the workings here. But look at this. Here are the model projected snowfall amounts through Saturday night. Now remember, we only use this as a guide, but a few inches could fall in the south central plains late this week before the system taps into a lot more Gulf moisture and potentially dumps a lot of snow on the southeast toward the Carolinas. Now, if you're watching this video in the southeast, get prepared, as this could potentially cause a lot of problems. Also, please remember that this is 4 to 5 days out from when I'm making this video, and a slight northward shift in this system could make a lot of this snow rain. But the last 4 runs of the GFS model have consistently produced this snowfall event. Okay, let's finish by quickly taking a longer-term outlook for the rest of this month. Here are the latest forecasts produced by the long-range European model for U.S. precipitation. Here are the big picture ideas. 1. The West Coast will continue to experience strong onshore flow, which will help with the drought in California and keep drought out of the Pacific Northwest. And 2, the Southeast stays anomalously wet, which will help reduce the drought there as well. And finally, 3, because of the tendency for the jet stream to take on a more zonal pattern, the central states may be a bit drier than average. Again, this is just something we have to watch as spring approaches. Well, finally, here are the temperature anomalies forecast for January by the European model. The northern plains are projected to stay bitterly cold, while an active storm track across the eastern half of the country will keep the southern states near average and potentially warmer than average when looking at the month as a whole. As always, winter is a volatile time of year for weather systems, so expect a lot of variability. But this model has done a fairly good job so far this fall and winter on picking up on the overall weather patterns. Well, we at Agrible will aim to bring you the best weather forecast information through our morning farm report so that you can efficiently plan your operation. We thank you for your attention and hope you look forward to our next weather video update. Thank you.